Right, okay, welcome to our next video journal. Today's date is the 26th of the 5th, 2020. We are a bit late with this, unfortunately, so I do apologise. I'm not too sure what's going on with the light here because it keeps changing. Okay, bear with me. Let's see how that goes. Okay, usual, we'll ask the questions and then I'm going to pass you over to Kim. What is your name?
Kim Dalton.
How old are you?
I'm 56.
What is your date of birth?
22nd of July 1963.
Who are you talking to?
My husband Steve.
How many children have you?
4.
What are their names?
Leslie, Christopher, Carly and Michael.
Do you have grandchildren?
I do.
What are their names?
There is Alfie and Alea, Corey and Mia, Sky and Corey.
What's your favourite colour?
Orange.
Out of these, which are your favourite? Peach, strawberry, apple?
Apple.
What was your job in the past?
I was an advanced nurse practitioner caring for patients with primarily bowel cancer.
What other jobs have you done?
I've been a nursery nurse. I've worked in a mushroom farm. I've worked as a fish and chip shop. I worked for Tesco's. I worked for HMRC, and I was a jeweller. A nurse.
What was the song you danced with your granddad?
Moon River.
Where did you go on holiday each Easter with your family?
Caister.
What was the name of yours and Sean's pony?
Angus.
What's your favourite hobby?
Horse riding.
What town do we live in?
Battlesbridge.
What day is Christmas Day?
22nd of December.
Hold up 3 fingers.
1, 2, 3.
Name a Carpenter's song you like to sing.
I'm on top of the world.
You have your book next to you, Rose's Thai Cafe. There's an introduction. Has 9 subjects. Could you read them?
Salad. Sorry about that. That's the dogs. Our next door neighbour's dogs have obviously just gone out. Salads, soups, curries, stir fries and marinades, noodles and rice.
Okay. Anything about this week or this past week that's stuck in your mind, either good or bad?
Sorry about the noise of the doggies. I'm so sorry. I'll stop in a minute. Trying to think what's happened this week. Everything just seems to be blending into the other. I did manage to have a socially distanced chat with my dad. So that was really nice, but it was so tough because we're a family of huggers and I just hate the fact that we can't hug and he walks closer and closer and I feel bad because I'm walking further back to try and keep the social distancing. disgusting and it's horrible. So yeah.
Where did you go before Dad's?
I went to tidy up Mum's grave as well.
Okay. Right, we run out of subjects to talk about where you are on your journey, but you've actually specified that you'd like to do something different for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I want to concentrate on my biography. I don't know if people will be interested, but I've had an interesting life. I think I've had an interesting life.
So maybe if you start with...
And I'm going to start with my early years.
So maybe we'll try and split it, maybe up to...
I'm going
junior school?
to 4. I might go a bit over 4.
Okay, so where you were born and all the rest of it, from what you can remember. Right, I'm going to feed dogs, in that.
I was born on the 22nd of July 1963, and I was born prematurely, and my dad still has memories of chasing the ambulance to get me to the hospital because Mum had placenta previa. It was all a very big emergency situation because obviously she was bleeding, and Mum always tells how she had an x-ray, she was kept on bed rest for a couple of days but it wasn't working, so she had an emergency C-section. And poor Mum and Dad had only just moved into their first home together. They'd saved like mad after getting married to purchase a new build bungalow, and everything, all the house was in disarray because they hadn't finished unpacking the house or anything. And Dad often remembers how he had to get on his motorbike to chase the ambulance to get to Rochford Hospital, which is where I was born. And I think the overriding thing I just remember from being a small child was knowing that I was loved. Even today, it overwhelms me how much love we have in our family. And my early years, obviously as a very small child, I don't remember anything. But what I do remember was from 4 years old. And that was quite a key point. I'm the eldest of 4 children. My next brother, so I was born first, and then 2 years later my brother Sean was born. And I can remember at that point knowing that I wanted to be a mum. It was inherent in me. I just had, from such a young age, this desire to be a mum, and the nurturing I gave my brother was really strong. And we've always remained really close. Our whole family's always remained very close. And I think the significant factor in those early years was that my mum was diagnosed with cancer. She had Hodgkin's lymphoma. And you have to remember that this was in the early years, and medicine was not what it was, and my dad was told that my mum was unlikely to survive. I didn't know any of that at the time, but I do remember the day that my dad walked, and we were spending a lot of time with my grandparents at the time, staying with them, and I remember my dad arriving from work late one night and coming in, and he was in floods of tears, and it was obviously the time when he'd been told that my mum was probably going to die. And he had, what I remember the most, he had toothbrushes in his top pocket of his suit. And I can remember him hearing him telling my grandparents that my mum was not likely to survive. And that had a really profound effect on me for life, actually. I spent my life watching, waiting for my mum to recur, her disease to recur. And watching my mum being taken to what was an experimental treatment at the time, radiotherapy, watching her go off in the ambulance regularly to have her treatments. It was a really difficult time. And my younger brother, I felt very protective of. So Sean, I felt very protective of, and he developed severe separation anxiety, which is understandable really, because it was unusual circumstances, and I don't think Sean really has great memories of that time, because he was that little bit younger than me. But we, as a brother and sister, we were incredibly close. That's not to say we didn't have our fights, obviously, but we were incredibly close. And we were just so relieved when, you know, Mum finally did come home, and that's not to say it didn't give her lifelong problems, which I will talk about later in years, but they still gave us a secure, happy home where we always felt very loved. And I was I was a shy girl. I didn't find it easy, and when I did, I tended to over burble everything, and then I used to feel uncomfortable that I'd over burbled and bore people with saying not really very much. But I loved nurturing my brother, and I think another memory that was so strong from that time was the first time we went to a holiday camp, and Sean was still suffering terribly with the separation anxiety, and they had a children's club there, and I spent the whole time sitting with him, cuddling him, saying it's all right, Mummy's going to still be there, and everything was going to be okay. And there was this great big giant teddy bear that we were trying to make him smile with, and he'll kill me for saying it, but it's a lovely memory of that time that I have. And I think the other memory that is so strong there at that time was when the chimney caught fire in the bungalow. The firemen arrived with their big choppers in hand and came storming in the house. It was very alarming but quite funny. I don't think my mum found it quite so funny, but we laugh about it, you know, an awful lot when you look back at memories and chat as a family. It was certainly something. And it wasn't too long after that before we then moved, and we moved from Hadley in Essex, just a bit further along. And it was Eastwood Old Road in Eastwood Old Road is in where, Steve? Bailey. And that was a fabulous time, sort of being free to grow, having space to grow. It was a different time to times now. You know, we would go out, and because where we lived backed on to where lots of fabricated properties were mostly derelict then, but they had been housing for people during the war. And they were great places to make dens, to discover things, to make great, you know, to meet up with friends. And we had a real little community. It was like just a small, very few houses, but we were all really close, and we were always playing. We were always out playing. We knew the dangers that we didn't cross the road on our own, but it was a real freedom that I think lots of children now don't have those freedoms. I think people were a lot more naive about the dangers that children faced back then, that we're more aware of now. But growing, you know, those early years for me were really good. I think things started to change for me when I started school, and I didn't find school easy. I was very, very shy, and I'm talking about primary school. So when I was in the infants, and I was pitifully shy. I still have this memory of being absolutely mortified that I had obviously been running around the playground at playtime, and it was raining, and the bell went to finish playtime to get ready to go back in class, and I weren't myself because I'd obviously been happily running around playing on the equipment. And I went back in the classroom, and I remember the girl sitting next to me going, Miss King's wet herself, her knickers are all wet. I was so upset. I was absolutely sobbing beside myself. And from that moment on, school was really tough for me, and I was bullied even in the infant school. And I think it was my shyness, really. That I didn't have the courage to stand up and say, don't be nasty. And my dad was always trying to sort of encourage me to be a bit more forthcoming, but he it just wasn't my nature at all, and I've never really changed. It's just an inherent part of who I am. But the overriding thing I have of my early years is just being loved. And I've always felt loved. And I've always known that I was loved. Even in the times when I didn't feel I was worthy of love, I felt loved. So I think when I went up to big school, so when I moved up to go into the, I can't remember the name of it now, but not infants, juniors, when I went into the juniors. Oh, that's something else that was always a big thing for me, was reading, something I miss now a lot. Was the weekly trips to the oh gosh, where you get your books from, library. We would weekly go to the library, and this is from going back to younger years. My dad's always been a big reader, my mum's always been a big reader, and I've always loved reading with an absolute passion, and I loved that side of learning at school. I really enjoyed learning. I loved information, and I was able to absorb information really easily. And my dad taught me techniques to improve memory and things like that. He taught me calligraphy, and I loved it all. And I soaked up learning new knowledge, and I did develop the ability to have a photographic memory, and that was largely thanks to my dad, in the way he taught me how to remember information. And I really miss that ability now, because I don't have it anymore. And so those early years, although tough for me emotionally, I think, when it comes to school, I found difficult, but the learning side of school, loved it. I loved learning new things, and I always have done. I've always been very inquisitive about information and facts, and improving myself. And that's what I take from my early years, definitely. So that's the first instalment. What I'm intending to do is sort of look at sort of chunks of my life. So next time I'll be looking more at my time from when I went to secondary school, so looking up to those years, and events that took place and things that were important to me, things that I became passionate about. So I'll talk about those things next time, and I'll be also focusing on specific relationships that have been so key to me. So my grandparents have always played a really big part in my life. So those will be proper popping up, and there'll be anecdotal stories that I'll be telling as well, I'm sure. And I hope that you see some humorous sides, but there'll also be sadder times and all sorts of different things. But whilst I have the ability and I have the memory to record these things, right now is when I need to be making these memories. And if other people sort of get a bit of enjoyment from watching them, so be it. If you don't, you don't. But for me, recording these memories is important. Not necessarily for me, but they will be important for my family to pass on my story when I'm no longer able to do it. And that's why I'm doing it now. So, thank you for watching, and I'm sorry, they're emotional things, so it makes me a bit tearful, but yeah. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching.
Right, okay, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and we hope you come back next week.